Welcome back, artistic ladies and gentlemen, to another Fun Friday episode in this Pokémon TCG Online series. Fun Fridays is all about silly and fun deck ideas, and today I bring you a Gyarados deck. Gyarados and Magikarp from the Ancient Origins expansion are going to be our celebrities in today's episode. Gyarados is a stage 1 Pokémon with 130 HP and 2 attacks. Full Retaliation hits for 30 damage as the base for a DCE. This attack does 30 more damage for each damage counter on each of your benched Magikarp. So let's assume that we have 2 Magikarps on our bench, each of them with 2 damage counters on them. Then we hit for 4 times 30 is 120 damage plus 30 as the base is 150 damage total. Add a Muscle Band to that, 4 copies of Muscle Band in this deck, and that is 20 extra damage, bringing the total to 170 damage with a full retaliation just for a DCE, which is a magical number because 170 is a one-hit KO on several EXs in the current format, and that is exactly what we are trying to achieve here. We want to one-hit KO EXs so that we take 2 prizes while we only give up 1 prize ourselves, making the prize trade extremely favorable for us, extremely advantageous. The Gyarados can also hit for a trash attack for 100 damage, flip a coin, if heads this attack does 30 more damage, if tails this Pokemon does 30 damage to itself. However, we will never ever be using this attack in any game simply because I do not run any water energies, so it is not possible for us to power up this Gyarados to hit for a trash attack. That is simply not possible, just like it is not possible for us to power up the Magikarp for an epic splash. Again, we do not run water energies. Interesting to note is that Magikarp has a 30 HP, that means at most we will be able to put 2 damage counters on each of our Magikarp. If we have 1 Gyarados in play and we did not get that Gyarados in play with an Archie's Ace in the hole, then we have 3 more Magikarp left. If all of those Magikarp are on our bench with 2 damage counters on them, we can hit for 6 times 30 is 180 damage plus 30 as the base is 210 damage with the full retaliation plus a Muscle Band, that is 230 damage. That is the maximum amount of damage we will be able to hit for. There is no higher amount of damage that we can reach with the full retaliation attack, but I think that is pretty impressive, and it's kind of like a Night March deck in a sense, because Night March can hit for those high damage numbers as well for a DCE. And also like a Night March deck, we run Puzzle of Time, 4 copies of Puzzle of Time to recover our DCEs from the discard pile so we can reuse them on our Gyarados. Gyarados also has an ancient trait, Theta Double. This Pokemon may have up to 2 Pokemon tool cards attached to it. Never mind, scratch that, scratch what I said. Our maximum amount of damage is 250 because we can actually attach 2 Muscle Bands to Gyarados, so we can hit for 210 as the 180, and then 30 as the base is 210 plus 2 Muscle Bands is 40 more is 250. That is enough to knock out a Wailord. That is more than even Night March can hit for. So actually Gyarados is more powerful than Night March if you can get it going by benching 3 Magikarps. If, however, you can Archie's Ace in hole your Gyarados and bench 4 Magikarps with 2 damage counters on them, you can actually hit for 8 times 30 is 240 plus 30 base is 270 plus 40 from the Muscle Bands is 310 damage. That is insane just for a DCE. Imagine that. That is just insane. And if you're up against a fighting deck, a fire deck, you can actually hit for weakness is 620 damage with Gyarados. Let's just hope we can pull that off in one of these games that we are going to play. As the partner of choice for Gyarados, I have chosen for Garbodor, a 1-1 line of Trubbish and Garbodor. Garbodor has the Garbotoxin ability, shuts down all abilities of all Pokemon in play except Garbodor if Garbodor has a Pokemon tool card attached to it. And we do run a lot of Pokemon tool cards. We have the Muscle Bands and also the Float Stones. Float Stones will be used for our Garbodor to activate the Garbotoxin, sometimes also for Gyarados, because Gyarados has a pretty hefty retreat, costs 3 energies. We do not want to pay for that, so if we want to retreat our Gyarados, we will use a Float Stone. Garbodor is in this deck because I want to shut down Greninja Break if I am up against Greninja Break. We do not want to deal with Greninja Break because Greninja Break can very easily snipe our Magikarps on our bench and also very easily knock out our Gyarados. We can also use Garbodor against Revenant Break to shut down the item lock, and also against File Plume to shut down the item lock, and even against something like a Metal deck with Bronzong to shut down Metal Link so that my opponent cannot energy accelerate. Then we also have Shaymin here, 2 Shaymin in this deck for a setup for draw support, in addition to 4 Sycamores and 1 N, and extremely powerful in a mid or late game to end your opponent down to a small hand size if your opponent took a lot of prizes, and then you can hopefully make a comeback, or hopefully we can make a comeback with our Gyarados, knock out my opponent's Pokemon to take the game. Then we also have a Lysandre to target our opponent's Shaymin and other easy targets on my opponent's side of the field, on my opponent's bench. Then we also have 1 copy of Hex Maniac. Hex Maniac is going to be used to shut down my opponent's abilities, in addition to the Garbodor, since we only have this one line of Garbodor and Trubbish. And that reminds me, actually this needs to be a 2-1 line. And the Gyarados needs to be, or the Magikarp Gyarados line needs to be 4-3. We don't need 4 Gyarados, since we want to keep some Magikarps to increase our attack damage for the full retaliation. So we do not want to evolve all of our Magikarps into our Gyarados. And I do want to have 2 Trubbish to make it easier to get out our Garbodor line. But as I was saying, Hex Maniac is going to be used in addition to the Garbodor to shut down our opponent's abilities, because this Garbodor can be prized at times, and then we can rely on our Hex Maniac to shut down the Greninja break. We can also reuse our Hex Maniac with VS Seeker for VS Seekers to reuse Hex Maniac, and also to reuse our other supporters like the Teammates here. Teammates can get us a DCE and a Gyarados if our Gyarados in the active spot was knocked out. Or we could also grab a Wally into a Gyarados in our first turn, so we can attack in our first turn if we go second. Always epic to do here with this deck if you can bench enough Magikarp. We do run quite a few Pokemon search cards to get out our Magikarp and our Gyarados. We have 1 Dive Ball, 2 Level Ball mainly used for Trubbish and Magikarp, and then 4 Ultra Ball. Ultra Balls are used for Gyarados, Garbodor, and the Shaymin, so a maximum amount of the Ultra Balls because of that. Then for Trainers Mail, for consistency, to help us dig through our deck, for example, find our puzzles, so we can use 2 puzzles at the same time and get a DCE back from the discard pile. We can actually also find those puzzles with our teammates here. I forgot to mention that. Very useful card to grab 2 puzzles of time at once and then use those puzzles together. Then we also have 1 Pokemon Catcher. Pokemon Catcher can be a super clutch card. It can be super annoying for the opponent as well, because it's basically a free Lysandre if you manage to flip heads, and then you can Lysandre Shaymin and grab 2 very easy prizes from that Shaymin. Then we have 1 Buddy-Buddy Rescue. If for some reason our Magikarp got sniped on our bench, for example, that could be the case if we are up against a Bats deck. Bats decks can snipe Magikarp on the bench if we do not have our Garbodor in play. Even if we have Garbodor in play, Golbat can actually put 10 damage on a Magikarp on the bench, and if that Magikarp has 2 damage counters on it, then it gets knocked out. We can then Buddy-Buddy Rescue it back from our discard pile and bench it again. Question is here, and I did not mention that yet, how are we going to get those damage counters on the Magikarp? You might have been wondering about that, and the way we are going to do that is through the use of this Team Magma's Secret Base Stadium. 4 copies of it, because it's super important for this deck. Whenever any player puts a basic Pokemon, except for Team Magma's Pokemon, from his or her hand onto his or her bench, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon, and that is exactly how we get damage counters on our Magikarp. It is the only way we get damage counters on our Magikarp in this deck, so it is a key card here. Without this card, this deck cannot function, and that is why we have the Puzzles of Time as well, to recycle our stadium from the discard pile. Make sure we can win the stadium war against our opponent, and always bench our Magikarps and get some damage on them. Then finally, we have 1 Startling Megaphone to get rid of Fighting Fury Belts. Pesky Fighting Fury Belts make it tougher for us to get the 1-hit KO. We want to get rid of them so that we can 1-hit KO with a full retaliation more easily. We have 1 Town Map as well to look at our prizes. Maybe grab a DCE from the prizes if a DCE is prized. And finally, we have a Sacred Ash. Sacred Ash to reshuffle or to recycle our Magikarps and bench them over and over till our opponent is so annoyed that he quits the game. Maybe that could work, you never know. Or till we simply take the game by knocking out my opponent's Pokemon. And that is it here. That is it for the deck analysis. Leave a like if you enjoy the upcoming battles. I much appreciate it. It definitely helps the channel out. And subscribe to my channel if you want to see more Fun Friday videos. Right now, I'm going to go into the versus ladder and fight myself some opponents. So I'll see you there. Our first opponent of the day is AP Wit, or API White, or API Wit, with a Grass, Up Psychic, And a lightning deck. Alright, let's get started here. Oh, can we go first? Nope, we cannot go first. I've got a feeling this might be Night March. Yes, this is definitely Night March. Without Shaymin, apparently, without Shaymin. Because we didn't see colorless typing, unless I missed it. We start off with our own Shaymin. That is not so nice. Can we maybe find a floatstone to retreat our Shaymin? I don't want to give my opponent a very easy 2 prizes here. I don't want to give my opponent any easy 2 prizes if I can. What is my opponent going to start off with? Oh my goodness, a Joltik. That is pretty scary there for us. Well, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? Do we need this Startling Megaphone? I don't think so. I don't think so. We can very easily deal with a Fighting Fury belted Joltik. So we will discard the Startling Megaphone and the Garbodor. And we are going to look if we have another Shaymin. Yes, we do have another Shaymin. That is excellent. We needed this other Shaymin. We will take a look here. I am going to bench one Magikarp without any damage on it before we bench our stadium here, before we play down our stadium, just to have a fresh Magikarp that we can evolve into a Gyarados. Let's attach a Muscle Band as well. Yes, let's do that. Then we will bench our stadium, or play down our stadium. I always say bench, I don't know why. And we will Shaymin here. I'm not going to use my Buddy-Buddy Rescue yet. Can we find a draw supporter? Can we find anything? Maybe... No, Hex Maniac is not useful. I was gonna say Hex Maniac, but that is not useful. Well, we do get another Dive Ball. So we are going to grab another Magikarp. And then I am going to... Let's see here. Oh my goodness, the Shaymin is going to go down. The Shaymin is going to go down. If only this Garbodor was a Trubbish, then we could have attached the DCE. Get back the Trubbish and promote the Trubbish as bait from our opponent. I am going to use my puzzle. Take a look at the top 3 cards of my deck. Alright, we do that. We do top deck a Sycamore. That is fantastic. A Town Map and then a Muscle Band. I am not going to attach my DCE yet. I am going to wait and see if my opponent does not knock out our Shaymin. We will actually Sky Return the Shaymin. That is going to be our plan. There's a DCE already from my opponent. Do we see any Battle Compressors? If we see 1 Battle Compressor, that will be enough to knock out our Shaymin, because then my opponent can discard 3 Night Marches with the Battle Compressor. An Ultra Ball is going to grab... Ooh, discards a Super Odds. Wow, a Super Odd in Night March. I've never seen that before. And grabs an Unknown. Alright. An Unknown. That is good for... well, I don't mind an Unknown as long as the Unknown doesn't give my opponent a draw supporter. Maybe just another DCE. That would be nice. So 1 Unknown in the discard pile. This does not give Joltik any attack damage right now. Joltik is hitting for 0 damage because there's 0 Night Marchers in a discard pile. And we do stay alive. We do stay alive. I cannot believe it. We do stay alive. We get a Sycamore. Well, now we see the Fighting Fury Belt though. Now we have to deal with the Fighting Fury Belt. I will still Sky Return, I think. We are going to Sycamore our hand away. We are going to try to find some more Magikarp. There's a Town Map, the Muscle Band, as we were expecting to see. Let's put a Muscle Band on a Shaymin maybe. Then let's put... do we want to attach the Floatstone? I'm not sure. Let's first take a look at our prizes. What's in our prizes? A DCE. 1 DCE is prized. The Archie's Ace in the Hole is also prized. A VS Seeker and a Sycamore. And then let's take a look at our Trainers Mail. Can we find another puzzle maybe? We get a VS Seeker. That's fantastic. I will grab this VS Seeker. Do I use another puzzle? I might as well. I've already used 1 puzzle, so I'm going to puzzle again. A Trainer's Mail, a Sycamore, or a Magikarp. Actually, that Magikarp is fantastic. I will take the Magikarp. We can VS Seeker for a Sycamore in the next turn. Right now, I'm going to put a Floatstone. Am I going to put a Floatstone? No, I'm not going to use a Floatstone. I am going to promote this Magikarp here. That's what I'm going to do. We will Sky Return and promote the damaged Magikarp. Maybe not. Let's actually promote the other Magikarp. Because if this one gets knocked out, well, we will top deck a Magikarp anyways. So let's promote the damaged Magikarp. Let's see if we can stay alive here with our 10 HP. Let's see if our Magikarp can withstand the fury of Night March. There's another Unknown. My opponent top decked another Unknown, I think. That's a pretty nice top deck, to be honest. Well, I guess my opponent would have loved to see a draw supporter instead. There's a Vespiquen. Does my opponent have a DCE for the Vespiquen? Could retreat into the Vespiquen and then knock out knock out our Magikarp. No, just a Night March for 0 damage. We are going to blast away this Night March deck. My goodness, I cannot believe this. Well, let's bench this Magikarp. Then we are going to Float Stone the Magikarp in the active spots. And we are going to retreat into our other Shaymin here. And knock out this Joltik with another Sky Return. That is what we are going to do. Exactly what we are going to do. So let's put a Muscle Band on that. We are not even going to Sycamore, I think. Do we need to Sycamore? I might just as well bench my Shaymin instead of using the Sycamore. Try to find a Gyarados for our Magikarp. And there is a Gyarados. Look at that. In the next turn we can attack with the Gyarados. We even get another Trainers Mail. What can we get from the Trainers Mail? Hex Maniac. Hex Maniac. Well, the question is, do I use this Hex Maniac? The chances of my opponent top decking another unknown are not very likely. So I will grab the Teammates instead. Let's grab the Teammates instead. And we are going to Sky Return for the KO on this Joltik here. That is why you need Shaymin in a Night March deck, because you can get stuck with such a bad start as my opponent did. We will grab a DCE maybe. Maybe the Pokemon Catcher. Well, we have the Lysandre, no need for the Pokemon Catcher really. I'm going to play safe here and grab a DCE. Make sure we have all of our DCE in our deck. And we will promote this Float Stone to Magikarp. The Magikarp with the free retreats. Can he stay alive again? Can he taunt my opponents? Oh my goodness, I cannot believe our Magikarp survived in the active spot against a Night March, against a Night Marcher, against a Joltik. That is that is just fantastic. Can my opponent find a top deck? Teammates, alright, that will do it for my opponent. We will see a knockout on the Magikarp. We will see a Battle Compressor and a DCE most likely. But then we will knock out this Joltik, that's for sure. Might as well Sky Return my Shaymin again maybe to knock out the Joltik. There's a DCE. Will we see the Battle Compressor? Yes, the Battle Compressor right there. Maybe my opponent should have grabbed a Sycamore instead though, because if this Joltik goes down, my opponent is left without any draw supporter again, unless she can find anything from the prizes. And there it is, a knockout on our Magikarp. We will teammate for probably, I don't know actually, I'm not too sure what we are going to teammates for. We do need some more Magikarp. Oh, we get an Ultra Ball. Let's discard our Lysandre and this Shaymin. No need for another Shaymin anymore. And we are going to grab another Magikarp. There it is. Alright, we are looking pretty good here. We are definitely looking pretty good. So let's bench this Magikarp. Let's put Muscle Bands on our Gyarados. Do we need a Muscle Band on the Gyarados? We don't really need a Muscle Band on that Gyarados. I could puzzle right here. Puzzle for a Magikarp. And a VS Seeker maybe. Teammates for 2 puzzles. Might as well do that. Make sure we have lots of Magikarp. So we are going to grab 2 puzzles. We also have the Sacred Ash for later on. And we still have plenty of DCEs, so we don't need to preserve our puzzles to get our DCEs back. Let's see, what can we get from the prizes, or from the discard pile? The Magikarp and a VS Seeker. That is what we are going to grab. I could grab the Buddy-Buddy Rescue as well. But I think VS Seeker is going to be more useful for us. So we'll grab the Magikarp. We will hit for the Sky Return for the KO here on this Joltik. We are going to promote one of our Magikarp, I think. Or do we promote the Gyarados? Let's see here, let's see. Ultra Ball. I will grab the Ultra Ball so we can get out another Gyarados. And then we can just attack with the Magikarp in the active spot here. Alright, we can Ultra Ball for a Gyarados and we will attach a DCE in the next turn. And that will be a kill on the Vespiquen for a knockout against this Night March deck. There's a Sycamore. My opponent... did my opponent have 2 Sycamores? No, just a Skyla. Why didn't my opponent not use that Skyla before? Skyla for a Sycamore. I don't know. My opponent must have had that Skyla all that time. because she could only have drawn one card from the prizes. Oh, maybe she top decked the Skyla then. Maybe she got a Sycamore from the prizes and a Skyla from the top deck. And there's a counter stadium, that's okay. We have all of our Magikarp in play that we will ever need, because we only need to take 4 more prizes. Well, actually no, we need some more Magikarp. Fighting for a belt on the Mew. And a pass of the turn, no DCE, alright. We even get a Wally. Let's use our Wally instead of the Ultra Ball. Grab a Gyarados. And we will deal here with this Vespiquen for sure. We don't have any more Shaymin in play, which is fantastic for us. We don't need to attach a Muscle Band either. We can just hit for the KO here for a knockout. I could even try to Archie a Gyarados. I could even try to Archie a Gyarados. So we are going to grab this Archie here. In the next turn we can discard 2 VS Seekers. Well, no, actually we need another Ultra Ball. We need one more Ultra Ball, and then we could pull off the Archie. Maybe I should have countered the stadium actually. I forgot to counter the stadium. That's my bad. That is definitely my bad, because now my opponent doesn't need to find another Dimension Valley. But I think even if I would have thought of that, I would not have countered the stadium, because we only have 2 stadiums left and we have used all of our puzzles. So we need to preserve our stadiums for the moment where we need to bench some more Magikarp after we use our Sacred Ash. Can my opponent find a DCE here? My opponent needs to find DCEs now. And we are actually safe. If my opponent knocks out all of our Pokemon, we have enough DCE. Even if my opponent knocks out all of our Pokemon, we have 4 DCE. And we have 3 more prizes to take, so we can do that with all of the DCEs that we have. If that makes sense, I think I kind of explained that more difficult than I should have. Maybe I should try to explain it again. So if we have 4 DCE, we only need to take 3 prizes, so we have enough DCE to take all of the prizes that we need. Yes, there we go. I think that is a better explanation than what I said before. There's a DCE on the Mew. We will knock out this Mew with our Gyarados. We do need to find our Sacred Ash. I am going to grab my Sacred Ash from the teammates, I think, in the next turn. So we get KO'd for 110 damage, which is not a lot. That is not a whole lot. That is actually not a KO on our Gyarados here. Let's promote our Gyarados. Let's attach a DCE. We get another DCE. Look at that, fantastic. We will discard. The Sycamore and a Shaymin. Why am I using my Ultra Ball? I forgot. I wanted to grab my teammates. Well, might as well get out another Gyarados. Might as well. And then we are going to teammates right here. Teammates for the Sacred Ash. Grab that Sacred Ash for the next turn. We are not yet going to use it. We are going to wait for the next turn. And we will also grab... let's see here. Maybe a Trubbish. You never know, my opponents might end us, and then we could promote this Trubbish as bait while we try to get a better hand from the end. So we are going to bench the Trubbish actually, and we are going to hit for the KO here. Full retaliation for a knockout on this Mew, leaving my opponent with only more DCE, only one more DCE. We will grab another VS Seeker. No need for the Sycamore or the Pokemon Catcher at the moment. We have a Sycamore available to us in the discard pile. We have Lysandre available to us, so we don't need the Pokemon Catcher. Do we see an N? And there's the last DCE. My opponent did find that last DCE. That is pretty impressive. Evolves into the Vespiquen. We could have even knocked out this Joltik with our Shaymin here if we had another Shaymin. But I discarded my Shaymins. There's a Mew. What is my opponent going to do? He's definitely going to knock us out with that Joltik, because Joltik hits for weakness. Night March for 240 damage. That is definitely more than enough for knockouts. We don't need to do anything else here. We will take the game. We are not going to waste any time. We are going to evolve and knock out the Joltik. And we top deck another DCE. Man, those top decks, those are some awesome top decks right there. Let's hit for the KO here. No need for the Muscle Band. That is 90 damage on the Joltik. More than we will ever need to knock out the Joltik. We'll grab the Pokemon Catcher. And that is basically a GG here. That is basically a GG. Unless we see some puzzles Maybe I should have anticipated for puzzles. I probably should have actually. And for my opponent, yeah, I should have anticipated. I should have used my Sacred Ash. I was too ecstatic there. That might have been a misplay here if we see puzzles all of a sudden. But I would be quite surprised if we did, because so far we haven't seen a single puzzle yet. Not a single puzzle. There's a Battle Compressor. If my opponent finds a Fighting Fury Belt, this Pumpkaboo will not stay alive. So we will have this knockout on the Pumpkaboo no matter what, unless we see an Enhanced Hammer. And there it is. We win the game. Concede from my opponent right at the end. Yeah, I should have used my Sacred Ash before in the last turn. I was just too eager to knock out that Joltik. Because if my opponent played puzzles, we could have actually been in a bad spot there from that end. So that was a slightly risky move. We get 11 tokens. That is very nice. That is actually quite a lot, I think. Because usually you get 1 token, I believe. Damage dealt 540 versus 510 from our opponent. Gyarados MVP versus Joltik. Alright, let's see if we can find ourselves another opponent. Our next opponent is Sumichi _ with a Darkness, Dragon, Water and a colorless deck. This could be... What could this be? Darkrai, Giratina, Seismitoad maybe? Something like that. Yeah, that could be it actually. We start off with a Trubbish, 2 DCEs. That's slightly unfortunate. 2 DCEs in our starting hands. No Magikarp to attach them to. So we might have to discard 2 DCEs right here. Ooh, and there's a baby Yveltal. A baby Yveltal. We need 2 Muscle Bands and 1 Magikarp on our bench if we want to knock out this baby Yveltal. A Remoraid. Oh man, I cannot believe we started off with 2 DCEs and a Judge. Oh, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, that Judge. Oh, that's so nice. We get another DCE there. No draw supporter though, no draw supporter. We need to be able to find a draw supporter from the Trainers Mail or from the top deck. Or otherwise we are in a bit of a bad spot. And there's a Noibat. It looks like we're up against Noivern, Octillery and baby Yveltal. And we top deck a Sycamore. Can we get an Ultra Ball maybe from the Trainers Mail? We don't get an Ultra Ball, we get a Lysandre. No need for the Lysandre. We will attach a Floatstone, we will attach a DCE to the Trubbish. Because we don't really need to do anything else here, or we can't really do anything else with a DCE. I could have just discarded DCE and then attach a DCE to my Magikarp, but I am fine with attaching to the Trubbish. At least we can retreat the Trubbish if we see a Startling Megaphone then. We will grab 1 Magikarp right here from this Level Ball. Then we are going to take a look at the Trainers Mail, see what we can get from the Trainers Mail. An Ultra Ball or a Wally. I'll take the Ultra Ball. We will discard this Pokemon Catcher. We don't really have a need for the Pokemon Catcher at the moment, since this baby Yveltal has a 2 retreat cost. So we are happy to see that Yveltal in the active spot. It can also not 1-hit KO our Trubbish. Let's discard the Startling Megaphone, no, the Pokemon Catcher and a Buddy-Buddy Rescue, and let's grab ourselves a Shaymin. We do have the Garbodor right there, so we can shut down the ability from the Noivern, which is exactly what we want to do. We don't want to deal with that Noivern ability, or Noivern's ability, which actually makes us flip a coin, and if we flip heads, I believe, we don't do any damage, so that is very annoying for us. Then let's Shaymin, try to find our stadium here. Can we find our stadium? Yes, we do find our stadium, but I will keep it for the next turn. Let's take a look at our prizes. 1 puzzle is prized. Oh my goodness, another DCE is prized. We only have 2 more DCEs left. Stadium is prized, an Ultra Ball, VS Seeker. Do we use this puzzle? No, I am not going to use a puzzle. I am just going to end my turn here. In the next turn, we will play down our stadium and we will look for another Magikarp and another Muscle Band, and that should be a KO on the baby Yveltal. There's an energy on the baby Yveltal. My opponent cannot accelerate from the discard pile, so this baby Yveltal will not be able to power up the Noibat with an energy unless we... Oh, we see an N. We see an N. That is too bad. Now I will need to find my stadium again. And my DCE as well. We do get Magikarps, but no stadium. No stadium for us. We needed our stadium there. And the Noivern with the Echo location. Yeah, if Hex, my opponent prevents damage, so we want to see if we can get out our Garbodor here. We get a puzzle. I will have to discard this entire hand. Yes, I will have to discard this entire hand here, and that is very unfortunate. But we need to find our stadium. Might as well bench this Magikarp and then try to find some more Magikarps. Alright, Sycamore it is. Can we find our stadium here? A DCE, the stadium, a Magikarp. Alright, all we need now is a Gyarados. And a Muscle Band, and we can one-hit KO this baby Eviltal. Will evolve into our Garbodor. No, we will not. We are going to use our Shaymin. We are going to use our Shaymin first of all. So let's use our Shaymin, try to find the Gyarados and the Muscle Band here. We do have a Dive Ball left, I think. Yes, we do have a Dive Ball left. There's a Magikarp. Trainers Mail. There's a Dive Ball. I will use my Dive Ball. And we will evolve into Gyarados right here. We need to knock out this Noivern in the next turn because Boom Burst is going to knock out our Magikarps. So we want to knock out the Noivern before it comes out, which means I am going to just pass my turn here, I think, and wait until the next turn. And then we can grab a Lysandre. We do have a Lysandre in this card pile. Yes, we do. We can grab a Lysandre and Lysandre out at Noivern because this is a very bad matchup for us actually, since Noivern can knock out our Magikarp very easily. We will leave the Garbodor in the active spots. No need to retreat it at the moment. And we shall just end our turn. So in the next turn we will Lysandre out the Noivern, knock it out guaranteed with our Gyarados. We are hitting for 110 damage unless we see the Noivern break. And no, we do see the Noivern break. We do see the Noivern break. Now we need a Muscle Band to knock it out. Now we need a Muscle Band to knock it out. Can we top deck a Muscle Band maybe? An Escape Rope. Oh my goodness, my opponent is going to attack us. Well. Let's see here. We will promote our Gyarados. Maybe not. This Noivern can one-hit kill our Gyarados, I think. Yes. We will promote this Magikarp. Oh boy, this is going to be very tough here. My opponent found his Escape Rope one turn too early, and probably a double Dragon Energy as well. Yes, there it is. We will see the Synchro Woofer here. No, not the Synchro Woofer. We will see the Boom Burst for the KO. That is too bad that my opponent found that Escape Rope. And that is probably GG then. We have probably lost the game right here, unless we somehow find a way to get our Magikarps back from the discard pile and bench them again so we can one-hit KO this Noivern break. There's a Silent Lab. My goodness, this is the worst matchup for us possible with our Gyarados deck. Yes, and there's a Boom Burst for 30 across the board. Knocks out our two Magikarp as expected. It's going to knock out our Shaymins as well. Can I get just one KO here with my Gyarados deck? Can I get one KO? That's all I want to get, one KO. We need to find our stadium as well. We do find the stadium. We do find the stadium there. We could just maybe try to Shaymin loop. But actually we need another energy. We need another DCE. We attached too many DCEs. No more Shaymin loop for us. No more Shaymin loop. We could try to Shaymin loop here. Sky Return continuously. Try to prevent a Synchro Woofer. So yeah, we need a Muscle Band to knock out that Noivern here. Can we find a Muscle Band? Let's attach a DCE to a Shaymin. We are going to Sycamore, I think. Yes, let's discard this V-Seeker. We are going to try to find a Muscle Band for the knockouts. There is the Muscle Band. We will get the knockout on this Noivern here. On this Noivern break. Do we have a V-Seeker for the next turn? It doesn't look like it. So we could find a V-Seeker from the Trainer's Mail. We will hit for the full retaliation for the KO. At least we take one KO, so we still have a chance here, but it's a very, very small chance. We need to target my opponent's... Oh, we will grab the V-Seeker. We need to target my opponent's Noibat continuously here. That is what we need to do. Make sure we don't see any Noiverns. There is the baby Eviltal. Alright, we still have a very, very small chance. Another Noivern comes out. It won't be able to attack us. It won't be able to attack us. Please don't end us. Please don't end us. We know my opponent plays N, and we definitely want to avoid that. There is another Noibat. Yeah, we need to knock out this Noivern right now, right here. It needs to happen ASAP. I will grab this DCE from the knockout on the Noivern. There's a V-Seeker for a Lysandre. It's going to Lysandre. We have a Floatstone here, so that's okay. Lysandre on our Magikarp is going to knock out our Magikarp. I cannot believe it. It's going to knock out our Magikarp. We do hit for 70 damage against the Noivern. And there's an energy. There is an energy. Can we find the Buddy-Buddy Rescue is priced. Can we maybe that's a bummer. How can we target this Noivern? We need to oh, another Muscle Bands. Let's see here. We need to grab 2 puzzles, and then we can Buddy-Buddy Rescue for a Magikarp, I think. And then we can also get back our Pokemon catcher. Hope we flip heads on the catcher. That is going to be a very important catcher. I'm going to go with that play here. Grab 2 puzzles. We will also take a look at this Trainers Mail. What can we find from the Trainers Mail? An N. Might as well get out the N here. Then we will double puzzle. Double puzzle for the Buddy-Buddy Rescue. Here's our Buddy, and we'll also grab the Pokemon catcher. Oh my goodness, fingers crossed here, fingers crossed. And that's Buddy-Buddy Rescue. We do need to find our Sacred Ash as well. It's not priced, that's definitely good. If we don't get, or if we don't hit the, what is it called again? If we don't hit heads on the Pokemon catcher, we will still get a knockout here on the Baby Evoltol, so we will be able to take a DCE from the prizes and then maybe use a Shaymin Sky Return Loop. What's happening here? Oh, my opponent is needs to pick a Pokemon from the discard pile. I forgot. Can grab a Noibat. That's annoying as well. Can grab another Noibat. Grabs a Noivern. Alright. We'll grab a Magikarp. Bench our Magikarp again. Then we will Pokemon catcher. Come on. Heads. Yes. Oh my goodness. We do flip heads. We do flip heads. Alright. Wow. That was amazing. And that's all we need to do for now. I think we will hit for the KO here. Full retaliation for the KO on this Noivern. 130 damage. We will grab a DCE so we can start our Shaymin loop. So we can definitely start our Shaymin loop at some point. We have 3 prizes in play though. That is annoying. My opponent can take 3 prizes by knocking out our Gyarados. There is definitely a possibility. We have the V-Seeker there. V-Seeker for Lysandre on that Noivern in the next turn. Unless my opponent Lysandres our Magikarp this turn, then we have the very same problem. Now we have the very same problem again. Let's just hope we don't see a V-Seeker for a Lysandre here. An N. Alright, we do get Ns. Can we find our V-Seeker from the N? That's the only thing I need here. The V-Seeker from the N. And we do not. Find our V-Seeker. At least we have the Sacred Ash here, so we can Sacred Ash back our Magikarps into our deck. Oblivion Wing for 30 is going to attach an energy to the Noivern. Will my opponent find another energy for the Boom Burst in the turn after that? A Floatstone. A Floatstone. Let's see. Maybe I will just Wally my Magikarp actually. Maybe I will just Wally my Magikarp. Make sure we have a Magikarp for the next turn. Yes, I will actually do that. Well, then we don't want it KO this. I'm going to Ultra Ball away my Stadium. And the Floatstone. No, I didn't want to use my Ultra Ball right now. That's a bummer. I didn't want to do that. Well, we have to discard the Floatstone now and the Wally. I didn't mean to use it just yet. That's definitely a bummer. We'll grab a Gyarados. And then, will we Sacred Ash right now? Maybe we will wait 1 turn here. Yes, let's not evolve. We are going to hit for the KO. We are going to gamble that my opponent cannot find another energy. What can we get from the prizes? a Muscle Band for the Shaymin. Alright, let's go for the Muscle Band for the Shaymin here. Then we can hit for 50 damage with our Shaymin, or just for the Gyarados. No need for the puzzle anymore, or we could have actually used the puzzle to look at our top deck. We could have done that. Is my opponent going to promote the Noivern? He is going to promote the Noivern, and this is going to be a very important turn. Can my opponent find the energy? Can he find what it takes to knock us out? All he needs is a double Dragon Energy. And no, just a pass over the turn. We are going to knock out this Noivern. We are going to knock out this Noivern. I cannot believe it. We are actually going to take this game. I cannot believe this. We are going to win against a Noivern Boom Burst deck with our Gyarados deck. That is incredible. We get an Ultra Ball. Yes, let's grab the Ultra Ball. In the next turn, I might just Sacred Ash and then grab another Magikarp, if we even need to do that. This is GG. Wow. And there it is. That was weird. The victory screen didn't load for some reason, but we took the win against Noivern. Noivern with a Boom Burst. That is like taking the win against Trevenant Break with Gyarados. That is as unlikely. I cannot believe that. That flip, or that heads on the Pokemon catcher. I think that decided the game for us there. That heads on the Pokemon catcher. If we wouldn't have been able to catcher that Noivern, we would have seen a totally different game there. That is just incredible. Let's take a look at the stats. 520 damage dealt versus 270 from my opponent. Gyarados MVP versus Noivern Break. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I cannot believe this happened. Wow. Alright, let's see if we can find ourselves one more opponent for the day. Our last opponent for today is PokeChicho with a 22 with a Water Psychic and a colorless deck. I think this is a Aqua Box, Water Box, which should be a fairly good matchup for us if we can get the one it goes on those Seismitoads from our opponents. We start off with a Mulligan. That was
Karp, 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 Karp.